I'm Helen.
And I'm Liz.
And we're sisters,
Scientists.
and lifelong X-Files fans.
And this is We Want to Believe. All right. Welcome, colleagues. As I decided we should begin things based on last week.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah. So
you have something to say about David Duchovny. I mean, we have a lot of things to say about him.
As usual. Yeah. No, it's indirect. So first of all, I wanted to mention that he started a podcast. So I know nothing about it other than that it exists. So I haven't listened to it yet, but we should.
Okay.
So
yeah.
And then the main thing though is that, do you remember when he was a guest star on Sex and the City?
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah. And so for the listener who does not know that, there was an episode where Carrie, I think she used to know him or something. And then he's in like mental hospital, but not like like a sort of like it's a nice place with like grounds and whatever. And the point is there's this quote in there that I feel like you and I have maybe talked about when he invites her to go on a hike and she's like not interested. And he says, hiking is walking. Like it's this thing that he figured out. That like hiking is just walking. Hiking is just walking.
Yeah.
And well, first of all, I don't think that's entirely always true based on Adam did this hike in Slovenia last year where like you couldn't really see the path and you had to hang onto a rope in some spots. And
whoa.
Yeah.
No kidding.
He said like, and I mean, I don't take this judgmentally at all. He said, I don't think you would have made it. Like, he's like, I think like, he's like, I don't think I'd do it again. Like, it was really, really tough for him.
Whoa.
And, wow. And there was like parts where like, he was like, I guess I'll just guess and hope this is the path because I'm not sure.
Oh gosh.
So
I hope he had like his cell phone and
he did, but he didn't have service.
Oh,
so it was like going in and out. Cause I was trying to like, cause we have, like location sharing set so we can see where each other are. I started doing that during the pandemic when I'd go roller skate on bike paths by myself. And I kept imagining like if I fall and break my ankle, I want to be able for him to find exactly where I am.
Yeah.
And then it's been useful when we're in Europe. And so I was like, just in case something terrible happens, I'm going to watch him go up the mountain because I don't know, I was in the hotel room or something. And and I couldn't, it just disappeared. So
oh geez, that's even scarier.
I know.
Oh man. So hiking is
and I'm sorry, this
walking.
But in general, the idea of something being simplified like that.
Right.
I had an experience when I was in Mexico last week where did I tell you about our excursion? I know I didn't tell the listeners. I don't know how much they'd care though. We went to a cenote and
no, I don't think.
And
you told me you were going to.
Yeah, it was incredible, but also something I'm not sure I would do again. So we went with this really wonderful company called Living Dreams Mexico. They're a great company with a lot of cool excursions. So take this as a plug for them. They're not paying me. But if I book something for you, then they'd give me a commission. So, hey, let me know. But no, they do a lot of really, really neat excursions and they're like a really good ethical company in that like they pay their workers really well, like their guides, and they are also very careful about the environment and how they interact with animals and plants. And so it's all very good. And so
that's awesome.
And I also think it's really fun that you can request what beverages they have waiting for you in the cooler in the car.
Oh my gosh.
I just like, not like there's a list. It's not like I could be like, I don't know, I want this, I want Pamplemousse LaCroix or something, I could, but I was like, I'll have club soda and Coke and water. And it was neat and it was there. So they're very cool. So they picked us up and we took this highway and the idea is that there's this cenote, which is like an underground river/lake of fresh water.
Oh yes. I've been in one of those in Mexico. Yes.
Yeah. And so this one is private and the people who own it, it's only accessible to Living Dreams Mexico tour guides and cave divers who get there through because like I guess a lot of these cenotes are all connected. And so these cave divers who are doing scuba diving are just down there in the dark for a long time. And it just looks not my scene. But anyway, so we knew we were going to be like going off into the jungle basically to get there.
Wow.
And my point is, so we turn onto this dirt road. We see, oh, here's some other cenotes where multiple people go. He's pointing out some other stuff. He's talking about Mayan culture. And because the cenotes are owned by Mayan families. And so, and he mentions how we're driving through the jungle. And I thought to myself, oh, no, but these are just trees. And that's when it hit me. Jungles are trees. And obviously there are more than that. But also I was just like, oh, I'm in a jungle. It looks like trees. Different trees, but it's still just trees. Like I think I pictured it like a Lisa Frank folder from the 90s or something. Like with like, I don't know, like a toucan with a smile on its face coming by and a rainbow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We did on the way back have to stop the car because an iguana, a big giant iguana, was in the middle of the road and just wouldn't move. And we had to just wait for it to saunter off because it was just like, there's not people around much. And it was just like, oh, okay, I suppose. And it like moseyed away.
Wow. I feel like that's such a your old dog, Evie. I feel like that's such an Evie attitude.
Yes, it really, yeah, that is so true. That is an Evie move. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Man, that's cool.
The snorkeling, so it's like really, really clear, super flat water, clear. But
was
like
it dark? I mean, because it's underground.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So we had, so we like went down these stairs and we get in the water, which was pretty brisk. I was okay with it. I can handle cold water. Okay. But
I remember very well because when I was in Mexico,
yes,
I was like 8.5 months pregnant.
Oh my God.
And with William, with my oldest. And I was so hot. The whole time. I mean, I think you're hot.
Of course.
It was mid to late May that we
went. Oh my
God. And so it was like very warm anyway. But I was very pregnant and, like could only drink so many virgin margaritas. Yeah. And so then we went to this underground river and it was like you put on it moved relatively quickly. And so like you put on life jackets and then just like float. And it was the best feeling in the entire world because I was so hot and it was so cold. And so to just like be underground in the water and like, it was amazing.
Wonderful. This didn't really move. We kind of had to swim and it was more lake-ish to me. But we had to like, so like we were given flashlights. Again, we're the only people down there. I kept thinking like, because this is my brain, he could kill us. He could leave us behind. He could, because we had to like, because there's all these stalactites coming down and it's really, really cool looking. And it's like so quiet, except for the echo of like water dripping off the stalactites occasionally.
Whoa.
And they have, so you have to like swim so that like there's stalactites coming down like on either sides of our head to get through into this other room. And it was a little claustrophobic and also agoraphobic at the same time once we got into the big room. I don't know. And I was very, very just completely disoriented and had no idea really where we were.
Yeah.
Wow. And then and there's a little bit of lighting that they've had wired up in there. There's like one big light and it's still really, really dark. But it was okay. And then he was going to take us into another cave where there is no light and it would have just been our flashlights. And we were going to again have to kind of not quite swim underwater to get there, but almost. And I was like, you know what? No, I can't. Nope, we're done. We're done here.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of the movie The Descent.
Yes. Exactly. I thought about The Descent the whole time.
Oh, it's a good movie.
It is good. It's really scary. Yeah. And I mean, I don't think there's water in those caves.
No, I think there is.
Is there? Okay.
Isn't there like the famous scene of like the girl like coming out of the water and like she's I think
of course. Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah, same. Yeah, there's basically The Descent is some women going caving, exploring, and there's monsters in the caves. Yeah. And but we saw lots of bats. There were so many bats in there swooping around, doing their thing. So that was cool.
Yeah. Oh, I love bats. They're great.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
Yeah.
I saw on Instagram recently, like someone ranking the top 10 cutest bats. And that's my sort of content.
Yeah.
That's the algorithm doing well for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it
Yeah.
like top 10 cutest bat breeds or specific
Yes.
bats? Oh, okay.
No, breeds. Yeah, species.
Otherwise, it'd be like a beauty contest.
Yeah.
Try to win Miss Bat Mexico or whatever. So that was my update. The
Yeah,
jungles
cool.
are trees.
Jungles are trees.
They're trees. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, again, I think Lisa Frank is the best way I can explain how I'd pictured it. So, yeah.
Well, I feel like
Turns
that
out-
whole, I don't know, like maybe this is just when I don't hear a lot of Save the Rainforest stuff coming out of my kids these days. And
Oh,
I feel like
interesting.
we were
Yeah.
very, very big into rainforests when I was
Yeah, we
in grade
absolutely
school.
were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was like a solid 10-year chunk of time, I think, where it was like all about the rainforest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So I feel like we got all sorts of ideas about rainforests
Yeah.
and jungles and stuff, and not necessarily, accurate ones.
I wonder if a rainforest would feel different. Like, what's the difference between a jungle and a rainforest? I'm sure there is one. I
I
think
think
there is
probably
one.
the amount of precipitation would be my guess.
Oh, like a rainforest is literally a forest with rain?
Yeah, I mean, like not
my
all
God.
the time, but like,
No.
more than
Okay.
other.
I never thought about I don't know. This is similarly literal, like, oh, it's a forest and there's rain. I don't know. Like when Amanda in college once declared, oh my God, cupcakes are cakes in cups. So
So we'll talk about the episode, Our Town.
yeah. Yeah.
But then also you have a story for the end of the episode, right?
I do, yes,
So,
if we get
okay.
to it. Yeah. And if not, I'll save it for next week. It is a spooky hotel story.
Ooh. Well, I'll tell you. So I don't have a ton to say about this. So I feel like, I have a cold, if people can't tell from my voice. And I feel like the last couple I've been like, well, I took a lot of notes, but I didn't look into the science much. And this is kind of like the opposite, where I don't have that much
interesting.
to say about the episode and I don't have a lot of notes, but I have a lot to say about the science that is there.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
So,
And this is Our Town.
Our Town, the second to last episode of season 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, start out in Arkansas, and we see some people in a forest, and it's like
Trees.
Trees. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like a couple, and it's clear they're like, about to mess around or whatever.
Okay. Are they in a car or just
they're in a car?
Okay.
But then she gets out, and he like starts to like have like a tremor or something weird go on, and so he takes some medication and then gets out of the car and follows her.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point she says, well, why don't you chase me? Like he was like, they keep walking in the woods, and he's like, isn't here good enough? Like he's got a blanket.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, you have to catch me first, and takes off running. And then we see something appear with a big giant mask that
Ooh.
presumably kills him. So
Okay.
that's the intro.
Okay. This reminds me a little bit of the Devil Worshipper episode beginning that I saw. Die Hand of Verletz.
Oh,
Yeah.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is George Kearns. That's the guy. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so he's reported missing, which is what brings Mulder and Scully in the first place.
Okay.
And by where he was found, there's like this big circle of burned earth.
Wait, he was found? I thought you said he was missing.
Where he disappeared from.
Oh, got it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Or he was last seen. Okay.
Right, where he was last seen. There's like a big in the woods over where he was last seen, according to Paula,
like a big circle of burned stuff. Ooh,
yeah, like
maybe
about
the shadow from
Yeah.
Tony Shalhoub got him.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, size of the same radius as like a car or something,
Okay.
or same
Okay.
same diameter as a car.
Got it.
Yeah. And I'm so impressed with myself. William, my 9-year-old, has been learning some geometry, and like the fact that I've retained some geometry in my head is like shocking to me.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I just
use that.
I think I just assume that, like, I guess I see it with my students who are like, they're like a lot of bio and chem majors, they're like pre-vet or pre-med or whatever. And they're smart. And I expect that they're going to just automatically know this basic geometry stuff, because I feel like, well, doesn't everybody just know that? Like, and I'll be like, okay, so, they see like, here's the straight line distance, but we took like a half circle. What's the distance of that half circle? And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, okay,
No,
what's
I
the
couldn't do
circumference
that.
of a circle? And they'll be like, and I know I had one girl go, okay, I got it. It's pi r squared. And I was like, no, that's area, so I think I take for granted that very basic geometry stuff just lives in everybody's heads. And I guess that's not true.
No, very much no. Very much no. Yeah.
What sort of geometry stuff is he doing? Is it stuff like that? Like,
oh, I mean, no, not even. It's like area and perimeter.
oh, okay.
So
But I mean,
just,
that's the same. It's just area and perimeter of a circle.
Right, of
So
squares.
it's easier. Yeah, sure. Start with a square.
Yeah. Or
I like
rectangles. Yeah.
Yeah. Neat.
So yeah, about that size, roughly. So large. And so Mulder brings up the idea of foxfire. Have you heard of that?
Yeah. Okay, so it was a book and then a movie starring Angelina Jolie, but it was also a separate book about like homesteading, not homesteading, I don't know what the right word is. People growing food and mending and things like that. And my friend Emily in high school got like really into it, and it was like a how to live off the land. This is clearly unrelated.
No, yeah, not at all.
I don't know that either of my references for Foxfire have anything to do with Foxfire. Is this like swamp gas, or is that different?
Yes, kind of.
Okay.
So swamp gas is a possible explanation for foxfire.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So it's in a lot of like folk tales, especially in the kind of Ozarks, that region. Well, let me tell you, this takes place in Arkansas. My experience in Arkansas is wild.
Have you been to Arkansas?
I have, yeah. When we drove home from Texas a few years ago, we went to Texas to visit friends and then drove there and back.
Yeah.
The bottom, like the southern part of Arkansas is like beautiful. We went to Hot Springs, Arkansas, which was like gorgeous. Like I would highly recommend. I would love to take like another trip, because this was pretty mid-pandemic. And so like I would love to take a trip to like actually be able to like do stuff and go to shops and stuff. I loved Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Wow.
But when we got to like the northwest part of it, they were burning fields. And so it was like the entire state was on fire as far as I could tell.
God. Oh.
And so it was like just driving through like fire on either side of us, and like the whole air was smoky.
It sounds very like post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, very, very.
Oh.
And we couldn't, like, there was nowhere to stop. There was nowhere open. We were in the middle of nowhere. It was the pandemic. It was like, this was in 2020. We went to like hunker down with some good friends of ours for a while. And we had to like stop somewhere. I had looked up places where we could stop, and it didn't work. They weren't open. We ended up having to like pee in a park. It was terrible.
Oh my God, that's awful.
Anyway, so Mulder thinks it's foxfire. He thinks it's this like kind of mythical fire that can, show up, that people have heard rumors of.
Which, speaking of, I just want to mention, since we brought up swamp gas, we had that story from our listener Alita a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
But when she was in northern Wisconsin and saw these lights over this lake, and that was one of the theories, but it didn't really hold up. So this is reminding me of that.
Yeah,
okay, so
totally.
foxfire is a mysterious thing that Mulder thinks it is. Fair enough. And I've noticed something. It seems like often they have Mulder start by guessing something wrong. And it does turn out to be something mystical, but it's never what he thinks at first. So,
yes, I would agree with that. And in fact, actually, I don't think there's any sort of mystical explanation for anything in this episode, though.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. This is rare.
Yeah. All biology, man.
Nice.
So George Kearns worked at the Chaco chicken. I think they said it Chaco. I want to say Chaco looking at my notes, but a chicken processing plant. And so there's some gross, gratuitous stuff. And we see Paula, the, woman who had been with George in the she works there too. And apparently George was a local inspector who wanted to close down the factory. So now, of course, they're starting to suspect that there could be, the people were trying to stop George from getting the plant shut down, like the owner was. And so Paula is working, and we see her like working on the factory line and just kind of doing repetitive work. And she starts hallucinating, where she sees, like, instead of chickens going by on these like things, dead chickens on like spikes, kind of like being passed along the line. She starts to see decapitated heads. Going by.
I don't remember that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so she's hallucinating. She starts kind of freaking out. She is like tremoring a little bit and takes medicine, and kind of looks like how George was when we saw him in the car.
Oh, okay.
And so then she grabs like the floor manager guy and holds him at knife point and is like threatening to kill him. And then the sheriff who is present, who plays the sheriff? So the sheriff was played by Gary Grubbs. Do you know who that is?
Gary Grubbs?
I know you would know him. He's been in like
everything. I looked him up. Yeah, he's familiar. He looks like one of those people that's been in like everything.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, essentially, yes, he has. If you look at his like Wikipedia, and IMDb, I don't even know I don't even know what I know him from. But like the fact that it looks like he was in the X-Files movie too. Oh, he was in Will and Grace. That's how I know him. I know him from Will and Grace.
Oh, that's interesting, because I just saw the first thing that listed on his IMDb is he was a guest on, apparently Sean Hayes and Eric McCormick have a podcast called Just Jack and Will.
Oh, really?
Which I had forgotten all about on Will and Grace, with Jack going, just Jack. Like, I forgot all about that until yesterday, when I saw on Facebook somebody posted a picture of their Greyhound Jack and captioned it just Jack. And I was like, oh God, I forgot all about that. So it's weird that I see it again now. Yeah. Anyway, okay. I don't think I recognize him as well. Like, I don't think I watched quite as much Will and Grace, but his face is familiar. So
yeah, he's like a character actor.
Yeah.
And is like, him playing a sheriff with a Southern accent is like peak him.
Okay, got it.
So
that's his vibe. All right.
Yeah. So anyway, Paula is holding the guy at knife point, and Scully's trying to talk her down. But then the sheriff just shoots her.
Oh wow. Okay.
And she falls into this vat of chicken feed. But it's a lot grosser than that sounds. And this is a reality, although I don't want to like bum anyone out too hard. But I know they do this. They were grinding up the unused parts of the chickens to then feed to.
It's horrifying. I mean, as we've talked about, like, big business agriculture, bad for everyone. Like, really, and I'm sure so much worse than I can even imagine. So
yeah.
And I know it does not come off well in this episode. So
nope, no. It doesn't anywhere in the X-Files, which is kind of nice.
No,
like they're doing a good job of representing the,
Which I just want to share that apparently this guy is in another X-Files episode playing a different character.
really?
In the movie,
I said that.
you said he was in the movie. He doesn't play the same guy though. He plays someone else entirely.
Right.
I
Yeah.
assumed he played the
Yeah.
same character for some reason.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No. I don't know why. Anyway.
Yeah. So Scully does an autopsy on Paula, the woman, and finds that and she looked a lot younger than George, than the
Than her
guy she went to
boyfriend or
divorce
whatever?
with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she looked maybe 20 or so,
Oh, wow.
or
Okay.
early 20s. And apparently she's actually 47, according to her personnel profile. And which I thought, like, I don't know, the whole, like, you know, weird longevity stuff that the X-Files sometimes does. Like, I thought the difference between looking mid-20s and 47 is, like, you know, a lot, but not like inconceivable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
it's not like she was 85.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. My friend Cynthia is in her mid-40s and looks, you know, early 30s. I mean, like, you know, I don't know. It
feel
doesn't
like
seem that
I know
weird.
people who are in very good shape and or have had very small but good amounts of work done. And
really?
yeah.
Whoa. Cool.
And so, like, it's been very effective, apparently. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I know what you mean. I feel like it'd be weird if anybody thought I was in my early 20s. But it wouldn't be an X-File.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
But Scully finds out that Paula suffered from Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease.
Okay. I want to be like, now we're getting somewhere. Okay.
Yes. I mean, now we're getting somewhere. It's true. So Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease is a form of spongiform encephalopathy.
Yes. Of course.
No, we're going to talk about those words.
Great. I think I know spongiform. Does it make your brain all spongy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Spongiform encephalopathy. Encephala meaning like related to the brain. Apathy meaning like pathology, like bad.
Okay.
And so it's a
spongy bad brain.
Spongy bad brain. Actually, spongy brain bad.
Spongy brain bad. Okay.
Yeah. And so this can cause behavior changes, visual problems, dementia, some like headaches and weakness. And about 70% of people with it die within a year of being diagnosed. It's bad. It's spongy bad. I don't know. And it's caused by a prion.
Yes.
So, what do you know about prions? And then I'll tell you what I know.
Okay. They're not a virus.
Nope.
They're not a bacteria.
Nope.
They're their own thing, much like David S. Pumpkins. And they are creepy to our friend Amanda because of something about them. Are they kind of like, are they alive or not? Like in this weird, like, is a prion a living thing? We're not sure. Maybe, and or how do they not die? There's something real creepy about their ways.
Yeah. So, there is not a debate about whether or not they would be alive.
Okay. Are they alive?
Not at all.
They're not alive?
They're not. No, they are proteins. The debate you might be thinking of is regarding viruses. So I'm going to give everyone some very basic microbiology. So we have unicellular organisms. So things that are alive but are made of just one cell. And
like amoebas.
Sometimes these things are eukaryotic, meaning they look a lot like our cells. They have a nucleus, etc. And sometimes they are prokaryotic, and that would be bacteria. Again, simplifying things. But so we have like little guys that are alive and can, perform all the functions that we characterize living things as having. And they're made up of the 4 macromolecules. Do you know what those are? You can just say no. I don't know.
No,
Okay.
I was like, all I could think of, wait, no, this is like fats or like lipids
Yeah.
or something and
Yeah.
proteins and
Two more.
two more. I do remember learning this now, but I can't come up with the other two.
Well, think about what we eat. You got fats and proteins.
Oh yeah, vegetables. No, what do we eat? We eat fat. Oh, carbohydrates.
Yeah. Yep.
And then the
Fats or
mystery one. Yeah.
yep, lipids, proteins, carbohydrates, and nucleic acids.
Yeah, I wasn't going to come up with that one.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So DNA and RNA are both nucleic acids.
Right. Yes, that's the that's the Na, nucleic acid in DNA, right? Okay.
And RNA. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so we are made up of all sorts of different combinations of those four things, along with many other things, right? And so like say if we're talking about just a one-celled organism like a bacteria, it has, DNA and RNA in it. It has lipids and carbohydrates and different like things on the cell wall. We have combinations of all these things. Viruses are usually some sort of either protein or carbohydrate shell, essentially, with nucleic acid inside. So viruses are sometimes there's a debate about whether or not they are alive because they can't do things like regulate body temperature or, regulate blood sugar or regulate like the, tonicity, the amount of solutes in them. And so viruses are just essentially nucleic acids along with protein or carbohydrate or both on their little capsule outside of the nucleic acid. And so there's debate about that. Okay.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Prions are just proteins. They are just malformed proteins that are infectious. And so they are alarming for many reasons. One being that it's something so otherwise innocuous and so small that can become infectious. It's definitely not living.
It's weird that something not living can be infectious. Although I guess infectious is just a weird concept when I think about it. But like I think not living, and I think of like a rock. And then I think like, how could a rock be infectious? And I don't know. That's clearly not going anywhere good. So
right. Yeah. No, I mean, right. It still is a, macromolecule. It still is something that makes up living things, but it's not anything that's alive.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's just a misformed protein. It's also creepy because so it can spread from consumption of infected tissue.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're going with this, but it can also spread familially. So if it can creates change on chromosome 20, which then produces more prion, and that can be inherited.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So prions are
so this
scary,
is like when crazy anti-vax people say, oh, the vaccine will change our DNA. And that's obviously not true. But prions actually can. They're like a thing that can. Mm-hmm. Okay. Ooh.
I mean, lots of things can change our DNA, right? Like, I mean,
really? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, big time. Like all sorts of stuff. For good
Name
and
one.
Bad. Mostly bad. UV light, cigarettes.
They're changing our DNA? Doesn't that make us like a different person? Or is that no. Oh, okay.
So the way that I talk to my students about cancer is by saying that cancer is not always inherited, but it is always genetic. So it's not always cancer is not always passed along from, parent to child. It's not always inherited, but it is always genetic, meaning that there's some change occurring to the DNA that then encodes for problems. It promotes oncogenes, which
Okay.
produce cancer cells.
Okay.
So it's similar to that. But this is something that's infectious.
Yeah, that's
which
weird.
Is very alarming.
Because you can't catch cancer. Like,
well, I mean,
oh, really?
you can catch a virus that can potentially give you cancer. Right?
Oh.
So, I mean, the cervical cancer can be,
oh, yeah.
it can be caused from
HPV.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I guess I was
But
just picturing like if you go visit a friend who has cancer, you're not like
yes,
going to get cancer from them. Yeah.
right. And to make this worse, better, if you were to eat that same friend, you also wouldn't get cancer.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you
It's
were to
unadvisable for other reasons, but
yeah. Yes. But if you were to eat your friend with Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease,
yeah,
you would get it potentially.
got it.
Yeah. So prion diseases can cause, Creutzfeldt-Jakob, usually nervous system diseases. There's also something that I find extremely alarming that I almost don't want to even say the name of. It's like Mufasa.
No, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. I think I know
Why?
what it is. Don't even say it. I can just tell.
No, I think you can. Do you?
I think I can. What?
Then you say it.
I don't know the name for it. I think I'm having a psychic moment, but I could be very wrong. I don't even want to say it because it's so creepy. Northern.
What?
No, nothing. No.
What?
No. No, am I wrong?
No idea what you're talking about.
I know this is an audio medium, so just to be forthright, I have been pointing to my teeth and my hair.
Are you thinking about the tumors that can grow?
Yep. That's not what you were going to say?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Near.
No. Okay. All right. I just think that's the creepiest thing I've ever heard, and it makes me just want to slough off all of my skin. I just hate it.
Yeah. So maybe you'll hate this less.
Can't imagine hating anything more.
Fatal insomnia.
What?
Yeah.
Oh
so
my
prions
God.
can cause
I hate that
fatal
way
insomnia.
less. I hate that way less.
I hate it way more because it seems like something I could talk myself into accidentally.
See,
like anxiety, everyone.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I think I was thinking, I don't know. I've fallen asleep at the wheel. I once fell asleep while riding on a bike. Like,
God.
And it was fine. I popped awake a second later. The bike stayed up. Physics.
Oh my God, on a bike.
Yeah, it was when we were living together and I was working on the square in Madison and I'd ride my bike to work sometimes. And it was really early in the morning and I just kind of went up for a second. I woke up a second later. I've got it all under much better control now.
Because you have a husband to drive you in the morning, or
basically, yes.
I mean, that works. Yeah.
I mean,
that's good.
Yeah. It's an accommodation. So fatal insomnia, it just seems so unfair, as if insomnia isn't bad enough.
Yeah. So this is like, it prevents you from falling asleep at all, and then you die.
So a prion prevents you from sleeping?
Yes.
It can. Not fair? It's just not fair.
Oh, yeah.
But it's also 1,000 times better than the tumors. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I disagree, but agree to disagree. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to die of fatal insomnia because I stay awake thinking about these tumors. Yeah.
And so Creutzfeldt-Jakob, it's related to bovine spongiform encephalopathy, or mad cow disease. So if you've heard of, there's also chronic wasting disease in deer. There's scrapie in sheep. There's feline spongiform encephalopathy. So don't eat your cats either. So essentially what's the issue with mad cow is exactly the issue with the X-Files episode where they were feeding cow brains to cows and they were then getting
Yes.
the prion, and then it was infecting more cows and people that would then eat that meat.
Yes.
So Mulder and Scully are concerned that that's what's happening and that it's in the chickens.
Yeah.
But then that doesn't totally make sense because this is like a big national company. And so there'd be like a huge epidemic of this going on. And it's not, it's just in this town.
See, this is all I remember up to this because I can't remember the solution here. Because I remember,
So they're kind of like looking around and they see like notice the plant going into the city's water. Well, not the city's water, going into the water. Like there's a stream nearby. And so there's like a bloody runoff. Yeah, awful, all sorts of reasons. So Mulder orders the sheriff to Gary, what's his name? To dredge it. And he like is very reluctant. It seems very suspicious. And Mulder's like, well, I can get my guys out here to dredge the river. But you know, and he's like, no, it's just bloody runoff. It's not, you know.
Oh, that's all. Okay.
Right.
No big deal.
And so they find a ton of human bones in the river. Ton of human bones.
Wow.
Yeah. 9 people, including Kearns. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I got to be honest. I had already forgotten the masked man at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah. Well, fair. That's almost seems like a throwaway, which I'll get to.
Okay.
So my big issue here is the fact that Scully's the one examining the bones because Scully, a physician, is not a trained forensic anthropologist. We've talked about this before. They really
is it just like she's the best they got nearby?
I mean, no, I refuse to believe that there's no one else they could send for.
Okay.
Like there's gotta be, I mean, because what are they doing if there's, you know, if they just find remains under not normal situations, but you know, like someone finds a body in the woods, they have to do something. Like they can't.
Oh, and so you don't just have, so if you just find a body in the woods, you need a forensic anthropologist to look at it?
If the remains are skeletonized, and so there's not other identifying features, it is best practice. Yes, you need the county forensic anthropologist to examine them to properly determine, you know, things like age and sex to help identify them.
Because that's not something that medical doctors are taught to deal with because when they see bones, they're inside people.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah. Yep. So, and I mean, like, you know, Scully has a little bit of pathology training, but I don't think she's like a trained pathologist. Like, I don't think she like did a fellowship in anatomical pathology.
Yeah.
And so she shouldn't know how to do this. Anyway, that's fine. They didn't want to hire another actor and have to complicate things.
Yeah.
I get it. So Kearns is one of the people, and they're looking at the remains. They've got like all the bones laid out, and they're looking at them and notice that all the skulls are missing, which, you know, not normal.
Oh, and that woman visualized severed heads too.
And that there is what's it called? Pot polish on the ends of the bones.
I don't know what that is.
So I don't expect you to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So pot polish is something that archaeologists see when bones have been boiled in a pot, and the ends of the bones get polished from knocking into the pot.
Oh my God. Kind of like a rock tumbler?
Yeah. Kind of like a rock tumbler. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a very sinister rock tumbler.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. And so Mulder thinks they're eating people.
Yeah, so that's what I think too. Yeah.
Right.
They're cooking them up in a stew. Yeah.
And so they look, and apparently 87 people have vanished within a 200-mile radius of the city within the past half century.
Seems like a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. I don't know what's normal.
Right.
Seems like
it's
a
a
lot.
small town.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that seems like a lot. Especially to have vanished. Like that seems,
Yeah.
And so Mulder thinks they're eating people in order to prolong life, explaining Paula's youthful appearance. So this is the one part of it that it's like,
right.
yeah, no, not this.
Okay. Yeah.
And they find out that like the guy who owns the factory is also actually really old, and he just looks like a normal old, and
Okay. Yeah.
And so Chaco or Chaco, whatever the guy's name is, the one who owns the factory. And they go to the town's like birth record office and find that all the files have been destroyed. So they can't confirm Paula's age or any,
I see. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not online or anything because it's a small town and it's the mid-90s. So
right. Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't think this needs much scientific explanation, but eating people won't make you live longer. Just
so we're clear.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Don't be getting any ideas. All right.
Yeah. And so we see at Chaco, I'm just going to say Chaco's mansion, Chaco, the guy who owns the factory, and the like floor manager who was originally held at knife point, meeting with George's widow. So he was married.
He was married.
And that's a whole other slight subplot I didn't take notes on because it seems like kind of a throwaway, like, oh, maybe he had left her and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And it's kind of implied that she kind of like helped kill him, like kind of like lured him or helped in some way that led to his death. And so Chaco tells her to try to stop Mulder and Scully, essentially, to like try to, get rid of the investigators.
Yeah.
I believe he says. And so she calls Mulder, saying that she thinks that Chaco wants to kill her. And I wasn't clear if this was a ploy or if this was correct, because I wouldn't put it. It seems reasonable that he would be trying to kill her and she'd be afraid of that. But it also, I don't know. And then after she hangs up, she's attacked by someone in one of those masks. Okay. And these masks are like faux tribal masks. They're like, like,
I was picturing like a Jason mask.
Oh,
okay.
No.
Yeah.
And so Scully goes to check in on Doris, the widow. And Mulder goes to try to find Chaco at his mansion. And while he's there looking around, he finds a bunch of shrunken heads, including Kearns's shrunken head. So that's where all the skulls went. Right.
They've been shrinking them.
Yeah. Which, like, I don't want to touch that. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And so Mulder calls Scully to tell her this and hears her being knocked out by Chaco. So Chaco is there at Doris's house. Oh, so I guess it wasn't a ploy because he was there and knocked out Doris and then knocks out Scully. Okay. And Scully is bound and gagged and taken to like the middle of the woods, presumably where George disappeared in the first place, right? Yeah. And they've started this big bonfire. And I forgot, like in the beginning when Mulder is talking about the foxfire, Scully is kind of like, are you sure it's not just a bonfire or something? And so we're learning, yes, clearly it is just a bonfire. Yeah. And all the townsfolk are there and are eating Doris.
Oh my God. All of the townsfolk are there.
I mean,
like a bunch of them.
I don't know how many. Yeah, I don't know how many are actually in the town. And Chaco is like, no, I didn't tell you to eat one of our own. We were going to do this to the investigators. Like that's why he brought Scully there. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's why they ate George, was because he wanted to shut the plant down.
Right. I think so. Yeah. And so the manager guy, is like kind of mad at Chaco and is saying like, you've allowed the Creutzfeldt-Jakob epidemic here to occur. And eventually has Chaco killed. He like tells this big figure in a mask to take out Chaco. And so he does.
Okay.
And Scully is also then about to be killed when Mulder arrives and shoots the guy in the mask. And it's revealed that he is the sheriff. He is.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yep. And so then Scully's narrating. We find out that the plant has been shut down by the Department of Agriculture, and that 27 residents of the city were found to have died from Creutzfeldt-Jakob. And she reveals that Chaco was actually 93 at the time of his death, and he looked like maybe like 60 or something.
Okay. All right.
And that apparently had spent time with an allegedly cannibalistic tribe in New Guinea during World War II after his plane was shot down. So there's some like really bad anthropology to
I don't care for that. Yeah.
No, there's like a lot of assumptions about it. And like, so we're supposed to assume that like the scary masks were, inspired by this tribe that he was with in New Guinea. It's all very xenophobic. Yeah. Kind of using them as a scapegoat and also kind of, othering people. And also, like there are people that practice cannibalism for like ritualistic purposes, which is very different than like killing and eating your enemies, like
people who practice it for religious purposes, they're not killing people.
Well, they might be. So like,
why do you seem totally okay with this?
Well, like there are reports from some cultures, and I don't want to misname one.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
But in different parts of the world of sometimes like if they have they've like defeated a rival tribe or something, then they might consume their enemies after the battle or parts of them as like a kind of ritualistic
okay. So it's like
sort of
they killed them
process.
in a fight. They weren't just like,
Yeah.
hey, I don't know,
need
like
to get rid of this FBI agent.
Yeah. Or like that, I don't know. There's that Shirley Jackson story, The Lottery, like that, except then they eat him or something. You know The Lottery?
I don't know. No.
It's a
I don't
really
know
creepy.
Shirley Jackson. Is that an author?
Yeah. Oh, you should read Shirley Jackson. You should read what's the name? She's a real creepy. The Lottery is, I think, her most famous story. It's a short story where like you don't really know what's going on. But it ends up with like it's every so often the townsfolk choose a new person to be stoned to death, and they're chosen in a lottery, and it's horrifying. Yeah.
Ugh.
But you should read We Have Always Lived in the Castle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's about two sisters and then this ostensible relative of theirs who comes to town, and there's a lot of like, where did their parents go? And it's creepy and it's really good. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
that's good to know. Awesome.
Yeah, We Have Always Lived in the Castle. It's very good.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's from she was a writer in like the 50s-ish, maybe later too.
Yeah, I've never heard of her.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll read it.
Yeah.
And one more thing about the episode. So the season finale, the season 2 season finale is called Anasazi.
Yes.
Right. And so apparently when Frank Spotnitz, who's one of the executive producers and writers, when he was researching ancestral Puebloans for that season finale, he had learned about Chaco Canyon. And Chaco Canyon is a place in New Mexico where there has been some evidence for cannibalism that's been found.
Oh, okay.
So apparently he learned about this from researching for the episode Anasazi, and so this was kind of like inspired by that.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Chaco Canyon, though, is like super important and gorgeous, and it's like a major, huge cultural center for ancestral Puebloans, and so like it's kind of a good archaeologists, I'll say, are not crazy about the fact that like it's come to be known for the fact that there were some bones with pot polish on them. Like
Okay.
it's very much like oversimplified
Got
the,
it.
when like really it was like a super cool, important place.
Okay, cool.
But anyway, so that's our town.
Wow. That
And
is a
Prion.
gross one. It really is gross.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Any idea why it was called Our Town other than being like an
Yes.
ironic reference to the play?
Yeah, there was I can't remember who it was. It was either the like floor manager, Howard something, or Chaco, who said something like not in our town, or I don't, there was like
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Got it.
Yeah. Or that's not how we do things in our town. I don't remember.
I see.
I didn't
I
take
see.
note. But yeah. Yeah. So that's the reference.
Interesting. Okay.
So I hope we all learned a little something about prions today.
I think we did. I
Good.
suspect we did, unless we have some
Prionologists.
Well, okay.
I don't know what they'd
Biology
be.
studies living things. So who's studying prions? Is it biologists? Or should it fall to someone else?
Well, biologists or microbiologists or maybe biochemists.
Okay,
Like maybe it
okay.
would more technically be biochemistry.
Interesting.
Like
Okay.
looking at the actual molecule, but because it's causing infectious symptoms.
Oh, that
in
makes sense.
people, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you
All
have
right.
a ghost story?
I have a ghost story. So, one of the women who was on our writing retreat in Mexico told us a story about how in the past she stayed at the Congress Plaza Hotel in Chicago, and
Oh.
she didn't know anything about it. And she said,
Mhm.
I will never stay there again. It was so creepy.
What?
She said that so unfortunately, I can't remember all the details. I think I
Mhm.
sent you that note being like, oh, I have something to tell you about this while she was talking. And so I don't remember too many of the details. I do remember one thing, and that is that she had these really bad nightmares where she was throwing, I want to say watermelons, something about that size, out of her hotel room window, but it was like really disturbing for some reason. And so then after staying there, she did some research and found out that it's known to be the most haunted hotel in Chicago. There was a lot of gangland activity there, and Al
Oh.
Capone had a suite. And so they think there's like a lot of hauntings because of that. And this next part is kind of horrifying. Supposedly, there's a woman who, I don't know why, but she threw her two children out of the window and then jumped herself.
Oh
And
my God. And she had a dream. Oh my God. That's so creepy.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so creepy. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
So my idea was, what if
yeah.
me and you go and stay there and we record from there?
No, I'm not going to do that.
No, wouldn't it be awesome? It'd be so interesting.
Well, let me tell you about my one experience staying at a hotel that one person on the internet claimed had a haunting at it. There's no, I went to San Francisco. This would have been like, I don't know, 2010 for work. This was my when I had to go to a sputum processing conference when I worked in asthma research. And I lived quite a life.
Yeah.
But I got to go to San Francisco and see
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
friend
I'd have to
Sarah.
go there. Yeah.
And so I stayed at the hotel where like they, had all the people staying, the main hotel. And I like was looking it up for some reason online once I was there, and it was like this super cute boutique hotel. There was one comment on Google about it being haunted, and like there were not stories about it. There were not, but I was traveling by myself and I was not sharing a room with anyone. And I like hadn't traveled by myself that much before, like just a few times.
Yeah.
And so I did not sleep like at all.
Oh God.
It would have been, it would have been early 2011 because Zach and I were engaged. And I remember like I slept with the TV on and the lights on, and I called him several times in the middle of the night.
Oh my God.
And like, and then eventually I was telling my friend Sarah, who lives in San Francisco, and she was like, why didn't you just come stay with us? And it just had never occurred to me, but I got like zero sleep because I was so terrified. I called the front desk at one point in the middle of the night to ask if they've had reported hauntings. So I don't know. This might we'll have to think about this.
We could think about it. My suggestion would be that, well, first of all,
stay there.
Oh, I don't know about that. Not alone. I don't think I'd want to do it. See, that's the difference. We wouldn't be alone. It would be both of us.
Yeah, but no, see, that's not. No, that's worse almost though. Because like if I stayed there with like Zach, someone
like
who's extremely reasonable, right?
Yeah.
Or if you stayed there with Adam, who I think is sane about these things, yes,
yeah, definitely.
Then that's one thing, but I think it would only lead to tragedy if we try to stay there together.
Kind of like me and Mom driving back from Detroit after seeing Beyonce, and the two of us combined. It's like neither of us drive late at night, and it's like midnight, and we're in Detroit, and there's these big giant signs that say "Bridge to Canada," and we're so afraid of bridges. And there's this giant bridge, and we don't have our passports, and we're like, what if I just get confused and I drive on the bridge to Canada? And it was so scary, and it's like there was no one level-headed in the car to talk us down. We were just escalating, and then I had to drive an hour back to our hotel outside Ann Arbor, and it's like super dark, and like we had GPS on, and I don't know, I don't like driving on country roads at night. I can't do it anymore. And the other time I'd gone to Detroit to see a concert and then stayed in Ann Arbor, I'd taken 94 back, and I should have done that, but this was like, now Google tells you, oh, it's quicker, and so and we're driving, and it's very creepy. This was the hotel, by the way, where the power was out. So we came back and there was no power. Right. They gave us lanterns. But on the drive back, there's an alert that pops up on the phone that says, I think it said crash ahead or just crash or something like that. But I was so keyed up that I imagined that it was a command and that the like controls were like trying to kill us, and it was telling me crash, like one of those X-Files, like electronic message telling you to do something.
Ghost in the Machine.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Or blood. Yeah.
Blood. Yeah.
So,
oh man.
So it would maybe like, I do get that like there's, a vibe that a certain group of people will have, and it'll be different depending on the people. And it's me and you.
Yeah.
So my suggestion would be
maybe a couples retreat, like double date. Yeah. Romantic. Stay in a haunted hotel.
It would work. We could go down there with our husbands, stay in the rooms with them, but then take some time to get together in one of our rooms and record.
Drop my kids off on our way down in the suburbs with our parents.
And Zach and Adam can do something they enjoy, like watch sports or walk very fast while we record. So
yeah, I'll think about it. All right. TBD.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Well, and next week is the season 2 finale.
Season 2 finale, Anasazi.
Yeah.
We'll see if I see X.
Yep. Yeah.
Seems unlikely.
Sounds good. Seems unlikely. All right. Until next time.